Wagwan. Welcome to another episode of the group chat. Today in the group chat, I have you guys have already been introduced to him, but Jayray in the building. Yeah. And he always thinks that I think he thinks I take my podcast maybe too seriously. So he always comes here with a mask on, if anything.
Oh wow!
And tries to pretend that it's gonna be that serious. It's not that serious. It is, but it's not. You know what I mean? So for this episode, we are in the month of May, and it is Mental Health Awareness Month. Mm-hmm. So we are going to be driving a conversation here to talk a bit about, men's mental health and the relationships that we have in our lives, right? So to jump started, I'm going to ask this question here now to take a step back a little bit. Growing up, how would you describe your relationship with your dad? What did you learn from him? Whether it be directly or indirectly about being a man.
I wouldn't say I necessarily learned how to be a man. He just taught me how to go through life in the safest and best way. Simple stuff. Being aware of who you have in your circle, who you trust. Being mannerable around others, especially those that are older than you. He just taught me basic stuff. He never really taught me this is what a man's supposed to do. It was never that, and I think I'm appreciative of that because that's why I'm really solely a really 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 hell-bent against gender roles because my dad never made that a thing in our household. It was more just kind of just be you. Just be nice to others, be kind to others. That's it.
I'm glad you said that. I'm always excited to learn from, the male perspective, especially as a woman raising a boy, because I remember one time when I was sharing something as well, and I was just because I'm not a man, I can't teach my son how to be a man, but I can teach him good qualities that an individual should have regardless of your gender, right? And that's how to lead and how to have discipline and how to be aware of self and, all the things that you kind of just explained. So I'm glad you said that, coming from the male perspective that your, first experience with that was also it's not necessarily just hey, this is what a man does, but this is about what it means to be a person, so I'm glad that you shared that. Did you ever find yourself chasing validation or love from your father in ways that showed up in other areas of your life, say relationship or work or your identity?
You're killing me with these questions, man. All right.
That's what I'm telling you, we're going to drive it a little bit deep. We joke all the time, right? Y'all seen us over on Real Talk Radio. Check him out if you have not already. And we have these conversations off camera often. And I've been working on helping him to kind of drive it a little bit deeper, at least kind of out loud. So
I do on Real Talk Radio.
Okay. You be avoiding the tough stuff on Real Talk Radio for real. So
that's
why we're here now.
I opened up on the early. I gotta look at my early episodes. All right. Validation from my father. Not really in relationships and stuff. It was more everything that he would get on me for. When I realized some of the stuff was just nagging. I definitely want to say I don't want to say I ever tried to really. It came and it went. I'm trying to think how to explain it.
It's were you? You been living your life trying to prove anything to him?
Yeah. So prove to him that some of the dreams, some of the things I want to chase, and some of the things I want to do different from how versus how he how he went about things when he was younger. Definitely basketball. He never thought it was gonna pan out, and that was my biggest thing to prove him wrong, which was sad, just because I knew he wasn't trying to doubt me to say that he didn't believe in me, but he was just wanting me to be realistic. And I feel I don't know, as a parent, unless you just see the kid is not good at whatever they're trying to grasp, I feel nah, because there were times when he would say that, it definitely would hurt because that's my number one guy at the time. That's all I know. I don't have any siblings. Like I said, I didn't have the best relationship with my mom, so that's literally all I had. And so I'm not asking him to be my yes man, when you're younger, but
just a support.
Because it's him saying one thing and then it's me starting to believe it. But then when I got other people in my ear that like, have been in the game or have done this, it's like, yeah, you got something different about you, kid. Like you keep working, you're gonna make it. But then in the other ear, I have the person I've always listened to. It's my dad. So yeah, so it's like it's fighting, because everything I've ever known, everything I've ever been taught, everything that was about me was everything he taught me. So no matter what this coach said or this player said or this scout said, you know what I'm saying, his words would always overshadow it, even though, those are the professionals. They're telling me what I need to know. But like you said, the validation thing, that was it. Because like me and my dad, he calls me a rebel. That tells you more than like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just because I do things on a different accord. Like, I think that's why we click so much. We don't go by normality or we don't conform to society standards. I like to have a mind of myself. I like to question things. I like to push back. I like to take different steps in different directions than other people would, just to see. And that's really what I'm working on now, is getting uncomfortable. But I just want to know. But that answers the question.
Yeah. Okay. And you're right. We definitely do relate in various ways, and that is one of them. With the relationship with me and my mom, I spent a lot of like my earlier years trying to make my mom proud. And it's not that she doubted me, but the way she communicated that she believed that I could do it seemed like, bro, do you believe in me for real? And I had to acknowledge and realize that it's just different ways of communicating. And I think it might be the same thing like with your dad, where it's like, it sounds like he's doubting you, but it's like he's trying to tell you that he believes in you, but he's wanting more for you than what he thinks you're, trying to go after. Or because you're going after, like you said, you're going into to sports, and he's like, I feel like you're more than that. I don't want you to just like chase sports, because we see, especially like young boys, you want to do either music or sports, and he's like, well, you can be so much better than that. So that maybe, again, I've never really talked with your dad, so I'm not sure if that's where he's coming from, but I know that same dynamic with me and my mom. I had to learn that she's saying it one way, but what she's really trying to say is like, bro, you can be doing so much more. Like I see a lot of potential in you. But again, sometimes it's translates to like, you're not doing good. You're not good enough.
Yeah, you're definitely correct. Because he's that, like, now that I look back at it, he's done that now, like with the the documentary that I did that you was there for. It was funny because when we first started, I think part of that he just didn't want to be on camera, to be honest, at first. But he was like, "Why are you doing it on the camera? Blah 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 blah. Like, it's time, da da da." Then by the time it was like halfway done, or it was done, like, he'd be in his bedroom, he was like bragging about me and stuff.
Because he was a proud pops when I showed up today. He was excited for that boy. He recorded the whole thing and everything.
Yeah, it was. He does that sometimes, but basketball was a little bit different. I remember one time he actually took me. I didn't make the. I think it was the 7th grade or the 8th grade. At the time, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I wasn't even too mad because like those kids were OD. Like, I can't even explain how incredible those kids were that year. So I wasn't even mad. But he took me to one of the games, and literally he took me for the purpose of showing me, like, you see, like, that kid doing this, that you can't do, or you don't do that, or you can't do that. And like, I would never forget that. Like, I don't. That kind of stuck me a little bit, because it was like, damn, you took me. I think he taking me to, like, you know what I'm saying, like, learn, or you just watch basketball, just enjoy basketball with me. This man was pointing out, yeah, you see that kid, and then like the kid, and the crazy part was like the kids. And you know how crazy it is in our generation when it comes to school. Like, the kids he's pointing out are the cockiest ones. Like, those are the ones that would sometimes talk trash to me. Like, yeah, you didn't make the team. So it's like double hurt. It's like a double hurt.
Yeah, man, they're coming at you, and he's
coming at me, and like, yeah. So I mean, there were times with my parents. I think one time they laughed, and like, again, I think you said it's communication. I guess I wasn't. I don't know what it was. Maybe I got in trouble at school or something. But still, the way they did it, it was like I was sitting back in the seat. I remember they was laughing or something. It was like, yeah, you're gonna be working for this kid, and which was my friend at the time. He was like, yeah, when you get older, yeah, you're just gonna be working for this kid. I was like,
it's negative motivation. My mom does the exact same.
That was wild though, bro. Because like the friend, like, he was a good friend, but like he was a little cocky too. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I said, when I went to the schools my mom went to, I've said this multiple times. I don't know if I said it on this platform or Real Talk Radio. My mom had to be one diverse and had to be a rigorous academic. So I was cool with him, but we were still competitive. Like even in academics, sports, all that. Like it was. So it was kind of. It was almost like, damn. Like, do y'all want him as a kid? Y'all want him versus me? That's how I was thinking. I'm like.
Yeah.
So it was like, you know what I'm saying? And you, like I said, like these are core memories I shouldn't even have. This is like middle school, and I was like elementary. I shouldn't even be able to remember that.
And that's what they don't realize is like the way that they speak to you, how it does affect you mentally. And I think that's one of the difference now between the older generation and the newer generation. That's why like we get on their nerves.
Yeah.
Because they accepted how their parents talked to them, and then they figured it out along the way, and they just pushed through the pain that it caused them to try to just become better. And so they think that it's the same thing like when you take it back to like slavery days, right? You were beaten into submission. So that's where it's like, again, trauma is passed down from like so far. So now they're thinking like, okay, you're not listening. I'm going to tell you something so bad that's going to make you want to do good. But it's like, nah, my dude, that hurts.
Yeah.
That hurts a lot.
You feel me? And I think the other thing is too, like what me and you are chasing is, and I think that's what really made me click when we first met, is the thing that me and you are chasing. It's like back in the day, that wasn't an option for them. You know what I'm saying? Like chasing the unbelievable. Like, when we see these motivational videos of the people that we not really aspire to be, but aspire to be where they're at or better. It's like the three things I always say: uncomfortability, taking risk, and sacrifices. Those are three things, I guess, in their age, like they couldn't do that. So they had to do things in a way where, they had to play it safe. And when you play it safe, sometimes I've learned like you get content with certain things, like you get complacent, and so you feel like, I don't know. I think I remember told you like if I asked my dad like if at the end of the day, if you died today and you went to heaven and God asked you like, do you feel like you lived the life you wanted to live? What would you say? Yeah. And he say yeah. So I think when they see us taking risks, taking steps, I think it's one thing they do want the best for us, but it's also like you gotta understand like. Just you didn't do that when you didn't want to take that risk. So now that we're taking that risk, it's almost like I don't feel like they're jealous, but I just feel like it's fair. It's like foreign line. Yeah.
It's fair. That's something I've had to like heavily assess with the relationship with my mom as well. And like you say, we're going against the norm, and they're just like they were again beaten into submission to do what they were told to do, to follow this script, to follow this pattern. You go to school, you get good grades, you get this degree, and then you live this job for the rest of your life. That was the structural system that they have been following for years and years and years, and it's being passed down. And for them, it's like, hey, if a system ain't broke, don't fix it. But we're like, system is broke. Yeah, it's broke because you're not happy, you're not happy, you're not happy. So something ain't right with the system because happiness is important. And they're like, for them, it's just like they don't prioritize their happiness. They do make sacrifices, but it's sacrifices to just keep a roof over your head and food in your plate. You know what I'm saying? So when they're doing those things, they're like, just figure out a way to make sure you got a roof over your head and food. Because I realize that my mom's biggest fear is that I'm going to go out there and take this risk, but I'm not going to be stable.
Yes.
And then her fear of me not being able to do this and live life and be stable on my own, sometimes it affects me. I'm like, dang, can I do it for real? Because I've heard her be afraid for me so long. Much, I've also spent a lot of time being afraid for me.
And that's one thing. Remember you said in my last episode, check it out, Real Talk Radio. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. You were saying something about we can't go back, but we can go to the future. And I thought about that. Now I'm rethinking it. I think you can do both. It just depends on the personnel. It's gonna be hard. It's tough. Because now what I've been doing is, like I told you, I've been taking my dad out. I think I took him out to the movies. I forgot what I took him to a comedy show. I think I told you that a month ago. And it's crazy because those are the things my mom, okay, now let's be honest, like, I think that's the other thing you fear. My mom was not the most financially responsible person, which I think was one of the biggest reasons why, they split or whatever. And she's still not in the best financial place, but she still lives her life. Like she prioritizes her happiness. But the way my dad sees, like, you're wasting money. You don't have this. You don't have that. Like, you shouldn't be doing this. But when I took him out, and it's crazy because, like, I'll be like, Dad, I think we should, like, I want to get adventurous now. Remember I told you I'm tired of waiting on my friends. I'm tired of waiting on a companion. I got to start living life on my own. And then whether it's by myself or I started getting the idea of, like, let me take my pops. You know what I'm saying? he's more like, I don't want to do cruises, I don't do this, I'm not an outside person. But then when I force him to, like not force him, but like surprise him, like let's go do this. I'm not gonna tell you what it is, and he enjoys himself, and it's almost like I'm helping him realize, you know what I'm saying? Because the other day he did come to me, he's like, he kind of changed the way he shifted his perspective on my mom. It went from she's spending money she don't have, or she doing this she shouldn't be doing, to I can't lie, I give it to her, she living her life. You feel me? So, and I feel like I wasn't even doing that on purpose. I was just doing that just try to, you know, spend time with my dad. But what I realized, I was teaching them.
And that's where it comes from. When we start to work on ourselves, we become an example for them. And when they see us doing it, everyone's like, dang, just like how he was proud of you for your screening. He's like, dang, he took this risk and he did something outside the norm, and people showed up for you. You had 2 screenings. Just coming out of school, and people showed up. So I know he's looking like, dang it, he did something that I would be too afraid to do, and I'm proud of him. And again, the same parallel with me and my mom, I've come to realize that it's coming from, again, fear and a scarcity mindset. My mom may be a little bit different as far as like, she doesn't necessarily operate too much of a scarcity mindset, because she'll live her life as well, and she'll do certain things. But she still thinks like, okay, just do it this structure way, go and get a degree, get a good job, and you'll be good. I'm like, yeah, but I'm not gonna be happy. And I want to prioritize my happiness. So what I've realized with me and my mom is that, you know, she again used the like a negative motivation to try to get me to do better and to do more. And it took, I think it was like 2018 when I realized that she don't want me to do what she did, which was maintain that fear and not do something extremely risky. Right? So again, it all comes to like that miscommunication, because she's not sure, because she doesn't realize what it is, what she's experiencing, and how it translates in her life, and how and how trauma and the scarcity mindset has been dictating her life. Because she doesn't recognize that, you know, she's thinking that she's not able to communicate to me what she's trying to convey. Right? She's not trying to tell me like, I do want, because my mom, she sees the best in me, and she's always, you know, trying to encourage that. But before I learned how to effectively communicate and understand certain things and read between the lines, it was getting miscommunicated. I'm like, bro, you coming at me sideways and making me feel like, my mom literally told me once that she's not proud of me. And it wasn't that she doesn't think I'm capable of things. She's just like, you're not doing enough. And again, it sounds bad, but it's just like, you can either say you're not doing enough, or like you can do more. Right? And it can come off like saying it's the same thing from 2 different perspectives.
I'll go further than that. Like I would say like as a parent, like, all right, let me understand where you're coming from. I think that's what they really fail to realize, like, is try to put themselves in our shoes versus staying in their shoes looking from the outside.
And that's the thing, they only know their shoes.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the thing, they only know their perspective. Because a thing that has helped me too in life is like being able to understand other people's perspective. It's like we can have a conversation. It's a lot of times when I get into conversations with people, like they'll think we're having an argument with 2 different sides. They're like telling me something, like, and I'm telling them something. I'm like, okay, but you're not listening to what I'm saying. Exactly. We're saying the exact same thing, but from different perspectives. But because they're so clean to their own perspective, they don't understand your perspective. So that's what kind of like happens. So when I've, you know, been able to take a step back and be like, okay, mom, I hear what you're saying. So I no longer kind of like debate with her. I just kind of like, let you can't debate with them, because, you know, they're going to keep on going at it. But it is crazy to see that, you know, that parallel, and also when it comes down to the whole gender role stuff. And now you share something with me too before, something that you recently experienced. So was there a moment when you realized your father wasn't emotionally available in the way that you need? And how did that impact you mentally and emotionally?
You could have just said the car accident.
I mean, it's your story. I want you to share it. You know, we talked about it on the back end, so I'm kind of familiar with where he is going to take it, but I want you to kind of like explain, like, you know, what did you experience? How did you realize that? For the people who don't know the story on the back end.
Now, let me be fair. Like any type, I can stop saying like any type of injury, anytime there's an emergency, my dad will always be there physically. He's always going to show up. There were definitely times in my life. There were definitely times in my life where I had not too crazy health scares, but some health scares that would be concerning for a child. And my dad showed up, and there were times my mom didn't show up. So like I said, my dad has always been there for me. It's sometimes how he's been there for me. So for the prime example that we're talking about was my car accident that I had a couple of months ago. First ever accident. Yeah, now you finna take me deep because I don't even want to talk about it. It still hurts. It still,
You don't have to
but like not even not. I'm not even talking about the dad part. I'm talking about the car part. I ain't gonna lie, like it still hurts today. But let's stay where we.
Yeah, so you don't have to go into the details. Just how did it impact you when you realized?
Yeah, so I didn't even realize it until I didn't realize it in the beginning because like when I called him when it first happened, you know, like I said, he always shows up 4 a.m. in the morning. Like he got up out his bed, got up out his rest, and came and checked on me, stayed with me the whole time. Because long story short, the police assurance, it took like 4 hours, bro. I literally could have just went straight to like walk to work and came back, did a whole shift and came back, and they still weren't there. But that's a whole nother story. Yeah, like if he hadn't been there, I would literally just been sitting either in the messed up car or just sitting outside the car for like 4 straight hours. Might just 4 in the morning. But anyway, so I think it's like a week later, a week or two later, and we're going through the process of trying to find an auto loan. And another thing I have a problem with having my dad is, which again I've come to realize and understand that this is probably how he was taught, so I can't get too mad, is my dad would get easily frustrated about stuff he's trying to teach, and he doesn't realize he's not teaching, he's fussing. And then he doesn't realize, like, why are you fussing? I have no idea what AP, you know what I'm saying? APR rates are. I have no, it's almost like he expects me to know what it is, but it's like, that's the reason I'm asking you because I don't know. And it's almost like he's getting mad at me for it, because one more explanation or furthermore saying something wrong or making a mistake. And it's almost like, dude, I didn't know that. Yeah. So he turns it into fussing, and then I start to fuss because it's in my genes too. And then he'll throw it at me like, y'all love to debate. No, you're fussing at me. The way you're projecting your anger from wherever it's coming, you're putting it on me. And literally, I'm just asking you how to do something. Like, I'm just going to you because you have. This is the one time I give you credit to say, yeah, you know everything, so I'm coming to you. That's our whole issue sometimes. Like, he does. He's one of those people. He really thinks he knows everything, and then I call him out for it. But then when I ask him about something and I need him to know everything, then it's like it's a whole big deal. Anyway, so we get to fussing, we get debating, and I get frustrated, and it turns into a whole debacle about his emotions. Actually, it does. Actually, it did make sense. And when I told you it came out of nowhere, it did make sense because that exact thing was like what I didn't need emotionally. Like, I think that's one of the things why I don't like confrontation. I don't like yelling. I don't like arguing because it leads to nothing. But yeah, it spilled into like, yo, like, why are you yelling? This is the problem. You know, when I was younger, you used to do this, and it's still traumatizing. Like, you're never there for me emotionally like I need you to be. And then, you know, he starts deflecting and not taking accountability and starts throwing stuff in my face. What are you saying? I'm a bad father? I'm saying, no, I respect everything you ever done for me. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. I'll always give you your flowers. Always give you your flowers. But there are also things you could have cleaned up that, you know, that still affected me. I'm still dealing with traumatically that I didn't even know. That's why we're here. We sit here supposed to be talking about auto loan. I'll be talking about things I did, you know, when I was getting bullied when I was something years old, and I'm coming to you for, you know, comfort, and you telling me to go make a joke about it or something like that. Nah, that was real. You know what I'm saying? I felt like an outcast. You're talking to a kid that was an only child. So when I went in those spaces, I didn't have a brother or sister to like bully me or get me ready for that. I was by myself. So when I'm entering those spaces, I'm expecting everything to be sunshine and rainbows like I see on PBS. So you feel me? Like I'm just keeping a buck. Yeah. So I'm thinking that is what I think about. But I'm dead serious. You start believing everything you see on TV because you don't have and he shunned me so much, and he didn't shun me, but he sheltered me a little bit too much to where like it was certain times like the only friends I had was my cousins. Like if it wasn't school time, I wasn't seeing my friends. I didn't have a lot of sleepovers. I didn't go to a lot of sleepovers. I didn't go to a lot of parties. I admit I had a lot of parties, but that was mostly family. So when those interactions happened and I would come to him for comfort, because this is not the first time I was bullied on my skin color, because, you know, my dad was dark skinned, my mom was light skinned. They never taught me about race. So, you know, when I was bullied because of that, you know, I came to him for comfort and he'd tell them to make jokes. when I was still playing with toys at a certain age and kids weren't playing with toys, I guess. They made fun of me for that. I went to him, come for that, and he brushed it off, made a joke. But those are things that actually hurt me. You know, feel what I'm saying? Because I didn't understand what racism was. I didn't understand getting older and hormones and all that other stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like those moments, he wasn't there for me. Now, when the problems I have with my mother, I give him that 50%. He was definitely there emotionally. Yeah, I can't even give him that. Yeah, I give him. He didn't handle that right either, but that's a whole nother say. So we're not even.
But he tried.
His way. I was a kid. I was definitely rational. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be honest. I was like, kick her out the house. Like, I don't want to hear no more. Like, obviously he can't do that though. You feel me? So he doing the best he can. But also he would try to like force us to get together. He's like, you can't do that.
Force you guys to like build
like to make you can't. You feel me? Like, it's not gonna just magically happen. Yeah. You feel me? There's definitely different ways, but I give him grace with that because like I don't know how I would even deal with that situation. But the other little stuff, like when I came to him. But anyway, to sum it up, like when I came to him about the accident, I started remembering. I was like, dang, when I had the accident, you ain't even. When I called you, ain't even say, "Are you okay?" I'm talking about like I'm telling my boss. That's the first thing he said. He don't even know me. I'm telling my my store manager boss. That's the first thing she said. And she's an asshole. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not gonna say her name. I'm not gonna say how I work. I had to make sure I had the shirt on. I'm not gonna say how I work, but she's an asshole. She's a narcissist. She only cares about herself and the store. And I was surprised when she said, "Are you okay?" So let alone my father didn't say, "Are you okay?" I mean, you came. Yes, you came. You came. You took care of me. You made sure I was okay. But it was just a little thing of saying, "Are you okay?" Yeah. You know what I'm saying? The urgency to like. I feel like emotionally just I don't know, man.
And you did tell me that he expressed with you. Sorry, guys, I'm getting over something. Ooh.
I was watching on you when I was in the middle of a spill, so.
I don't know if I might need to put the candle out.
Go ahead.
It's not COVID. You'll be all right. I just got a little tickle in my throat.
You need some water, twin?
I need some water. But we're almost through with the episode here.
I was good. But
no. I wanted to ask you like I wanted to ask you now because you did say that he did express that to you that he can only do what he can, right? And that's something I think you already understand.
Yeah.
Are you able to forgive him?
Here's my thing with forgiving people. Because like I said, I'm still, like me and my mom, we're still good. And I hate to even say good because sometimes it's still, like I feel like I'm forcing myself to be okay with it, even though I'm still not. Like, it's way better than it used to be, but it's not. The same thing with him. And like I reiterated earlier, like he fails to take accountability. When I'm forgiving somebody, I just wanted to know that you know what you did. So if you say, "I'm sorry," and you mean it, then I can forgive you.
So if he never says it,
it's hard for me to forgive you. That's like me hitting your car and paying for it, but I'm not like saying like no, or not paying for it, and you're saying it's okay, but I haven't validated I didn't want to say validate. I was thinking of the word, but you get what I'm saying.
Like giving permission.
Yeah,
letting me know.
Yeah, letting me know. What's the word to start with A? Just want to get sleepy.
Not accountability.
No, not accountability.
Acceptance.
Nah, we're getting there. Sorry, y'all. We're going through a whole adjective, noun, verbs. Oh my God, what's that word? Anyway, yeah, just letting me know. Just in a way, showing me acknowledge. There we go. Yeah, look at you. She went to MLK, y'all. But yeah.
Hey, look. That's what it is, bro. This is a blanket from graduation.
Why you get a varsity jacket? You got a blanket?
And a hoodie. The hoodie.
You get a varsity jacket?
No varsity jacket. No. We got a hoodie. This is our class hoodie.
Okay.
Sorry, y'all.
Yeah. To acknowledge. No, actually, it wasn't acknowledge. It's another word, and I know I'm gonna be so pissed when we get off of this. Yeah, but it's close. But yeah, to acknowledge the fact that and let me know. You feel what I'm saying? I gotta figure out that word, bro, because it's really gonna help tie all this together. But yeah, to genuinely know that they like really know what they did and they hurt me and they genuinely apologize.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I get that you're still feeling like you need that. All right. So that's something that you're working through. And I was sitting there smiling like as you were sharing the story because I recently was in Jamaica with my mom, and I experienced that that same similar thing where
the recent one.
Yeah.
Recently in Jamaica.
Yes.
Oh, that's why you was That's why you said
you
said you was thinking about some stuff.
Yeah, when I was reflecting on it.
Hey, I'm sorry, I should have came.
Nah. I just like you said, some things you gotta kind of work through alone. Because I did realize some things while I was there. A lot of the times, when our parents react to us the way that they do, it's unresolved trauma that they have. And coming to learn more, about trauma, it's like that's what allows me to be able to like forgive my mom every time. As I'm saying that too, I literally sent her a text after that trip, and I was like, the Bible says to forgive your brother 70 times, 7 times, some paraphrasing, right? And forgiveness is more for you than it is for the other person, because you don't want to walk around with the weight of not forgiving someone because it is heavy. And that's going to affect and dictate how you live your life and how you react to other relationships. Yes, right? Which is why I asked you, do you think you can forgive it? Because that's something that I do believe you're on your own journey, so you're going to work on it, and you're going to find it.
And it's something I want to do because I'm glad you said it. I learned like I hold a lot in. And sometimes I'll be thinking I'm healing, and it's still stuff I haven't even touched yet. Like touch the surface down the spot. She was like a proud mom every time I was.
And it's not even necessarily a proud mom. It's just that being, a healing coach is just like, we use phrases like hey, healing is not linear, and it isn't. You know what I'm saying? And me, I've also done a lot of work too, and I still also realize things. Like that's why the journal that I have that I created, the first phase of the journal is to recognize trauma. Yeah. Right? Because before you can handle it, you need to be able to recognize what it is that is hurting you or the people around you, so that way you can begin to release it from your being. And as I've been on my journey doing that, I keep on recognizing stuff. I'm like, bro, can y'all stop popping up? Like I'm over it now. You know what I'm saying? But what happens is you become more equipped to deal with the things that you're recognizing. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like for this last trip for me, like, it was, triggering. And, it definitely, brought up on some emotions, but I also shift straight into one after I recognize it. All right, it's time to release it because I'm not going to carry this with me. And then redefining myself out of it, or acknowledging that this is a part of, who I am and who my family is. And it's okay. I can embrace that still. I can still love my family with all of those things. So that's like the next level to after like, healing and your healing stuff. And because the thing is that you can't, once you like, you can heal the wound heals, right? But that scar is still there. You know what I'm saying? It's still visible. And it's like, are you going to hate that scar? No, it's a part of you now. You know what I'm saying? So that's what like a healing journey looks like. So like the scar is still there and it's still relevant. You might see it every day. Some people might have a scar on their face and it's like, dang, this is my face. This is where my beauty is. Like, dang, I hate seeing this scar. But at some point, you're going to have to start loving that because you don't want to carry that hate with you for the rest of your life. So again, that's why I don't know who this episode here is for, but if you're having, those challenges with the relationships, especially the ones with your parents, because I think those are the most impactful ones. It's like, bro, I came from you. Why is it so hard to love you? Why does it feel like you don't love me? So those relationships can be very, very hard. But just acknowledge and realize that you guys are coming from different perspectives because, like you said, the reason why they're so hard is because it runs deep, and for the most part, the love is genuine, right? It's not for those situations where like your parent might legit hate you for real, because there are some scenarios where it's like that, right? But oftentimes we fight these tough battles with our parents because they genuinely love us. They just don't know how to communicate that because no one taught them how to. And that's what we're doing now. We're breaking those generational barriers and learning how to effectively communicate. Like, yo, I care about you. And because I care about you, I'm gonna take a step back while you're angry right now. We're gonna try again in a few minutes. So I'm gonna kind of like wrap it up on that note. So thank you guys for joining us on another episode of the group chat. You want to shout out your socials?
Yeah. Man, it's hard now. Okay. Real.t.radio. Clearly. Real.t.radio on Instagram, Real Talk Radio. I was about to say that because I like in my mind, I was trying to do it like I did do it on mine, and I was about to say the Gmail. But since we're going there, Real.t.radio on Instagram, Real Talk Radio with 2 O's on TikTok. Also, if you want to hit me in the Gmail about, some of the stuff you have, I'm gonna talk about it on my platform, you know what I'm saying? And that is Real Talk Radio 626@gmail.com. I might as well throw it out there, man, because I ain't gonna lie, my supporters, they don't want no free money. I said the first email, other than Shamika, Dwight, and Daryl, yeah, anybody that's been on the podcast, woo! And that is where I got my COVID from. But other than that,
first of all, like what was that, a sneeze?
That was a sneeze.
Okay, so God bless you, because I wasn't sure what that was. I thought it was a declaration or something. Like, what was you saying? Like, and then you're gonna say that's where you got your COVID from.
Because I was trying to catch it, but I knew I couldn't catch it like this. I would have hit myself by accident. But Real Talk Radio 626@gmail.com. First person to email me, I am giving away $100.
Okay.
Go.
And full disclaimer, guys, I do have disinfectant wipes. I will clean out the area after this episode. So for my next guest, do not worry. We will not leave. I'm about to joke and say we will not leave the COVID on the couch, but there's no COVID in the room. Okay, it's just a joke because whenever you guys see us on, I caught you. Whenever you see us on an episode together, we work together. We are friends. So we joke together. You can't always take it seriously. Okay, so that last part is a joke, but I will actually do clean off the couch because I am, getting over a little cold, but it's nothing crazy. I think it's just, the changing in the weather and the traveling that I did. So again, thank you guys. If you made it all the way to the end here, I appreciate you. Y'all know where to find me at. And yeah, until next time, later.